Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Mountain Harmony Gardening. I'm Kristen, and today we need to clean up the garden, especially this mess behind me. We've been gone on vacation for Sebastian's birthday. I posted some pictures on Facebook and Instagram if you want to check them out. But before we went on vacation, I was concentrating on cleaning the house and getting ready for the trip. I kind of neglected the yard and to do some of the chores that normally would have gotten done. One of them is this mess of collard greens. All these seeds need to be clipped back, and also the dead leaves on the bottom need to be taken off. I should have done this a while ago, but we were feeding Patsy the flowers, and now they're definitely done, and this is a huge mess. And I would like to get some more leaves off of them, so I'm just going to take them off. And I'm not going to worry about saving the seeds from these because they'll flower again. See, look, this is all tangled up. I can't even get it off. Oh my goodness. There. Oh, and now it's attached to the other one. So, like I said, this is a huge tangled mess over here that I need to deal with. So I will show you guys a shot of that as soon as I'm done cleaning up all this mess. This area looks so much better. I trimmed off all of the seed heads and I weeded the garden bed, but since it's an older garden bed, it really didn't need much. And the kale at the end needed the least amount of trimming, but now it looks really good. And you can also see that we do have a Swiss chard plant down there, but none of the seedlings that I planted or seeds came up. And I'm thinking it's because they were not getting enough sunlight because it was pretty shady over here. And this is the amount of seeds that I took out, that huge pile. And I also cleaned up any of the dead leaves or yellowing leaves, but I did get a little bit of collard greens and kale for Patsy's dinner tonight because she really loves this. But this area really needs to be cleaned up, and now it looks great. The next bed that I can tackle before it gets too hot is where the greenhouse used to be, our newest bed. And the fennel behind me has gotten out of hand. I need to trim it up. I'm going to save it and use some of it in dinner tonight. And also, if you'll notice behind me, my tomatillos are gone. All but, well, I think that one's gone too. I think I have one left and one of the little tiny baby ones. I've already had to replant these, and I can't find any more tomatillos at the local nurseries. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant some herbs here instead, and hopefully roly-polies don't eat them. And the tomatillos I do have left get growing really well. Also, I need to do some weeding and getting rid of some more roly-polies as I find them, and getting this one just slightly cleaned up. Everybody say hi to Socks, who thinks it's okay to get in my flower beds and roll around. Hopefully she's not going to do that right now. All right, I want to show you something. I think that is the world's smallest marigold that I've ever seen. Hopefully the camera picks it up okay. Now, I replanted some stevia. Here's my one tomatillo. It still looks like it's making it, and I'm going to have to attach it to its stake here pretty soon. That is the one we grew from seedling, and it's pretty sad, and the roly-polies have been eating it. Now I have a citronella plant, and I wanted to show you, I planted a stevia plant, but this is my other tomatillo. I've posted some pictures online of the damage. I'm not sure if the camera can pick that up or not, but right here down at the bottom is where they've been eating it. It's still alive, and I'm going to see if it'll keep growing, but I'm not sure. We'll see. And I trimmed up the fennel that way. All of the little pockets over here can get some sunlight because some of the stuff that has been over here has died. And look, another little tiny marigold. I've never seen such small marigold flowers before. They're kind of pretty, but they are tiny. So we're gonna hopefully see this area start to flourish a little bit more, because I also wanted to give my dahlia some more sunlight because they love sunlight. And look at these onions. I probably need to pick those and use them, or at least start to pick some of them and use them. Now all of the zucchinis, the regular zucchini and the yellow zucchini, are doing good. And you can see that they're flowering. I'm probably going to pick the flowers off so that they start getting going a little bit better. But hopefully here soon, it'll be time to start training them up the stakes. And we have a lot of grass that grows in this bed because it's the newest bed, but it doesn't look too terribly bad. And here are my other dahlias still waiting in their pots. And hopefully this weekend, we'll be doing the planter project. So there is a look at what this flower bed, or excuse me, garden bed looks like after I've gotten it all cleaned up. And you can see the huge pile over there still. I'll be getting rid of that here shortly. But it is getting hot outside. I am starting to sweat and I don't want to overheat. So I'm going to go inside until this area is shady again and finish up watering. Another question you guys probably are going to have is, Kristen, your beds are not mulched. And I have a huge pile of mulch that has been sitting there since we planted the garden. The reason that I haven't mulched any of my beds yet is because of the roly-poly problem, and they eat that and my plants. So I am waiting until the plants get a little bit larger before I mulch. I could probably mulch this bed over here because these plants are still in their little cups and they're doing good. A couple of them died and I replanted, and some of them are coming back up. But this could probably be mulched, and probably the tomatoes. But I need to get everything all nice and watered in really well before I put down the mulch. And that'll probably be another task for today. But this bed, until I can figure out what to do, I might just leave it for a little while. It's been a few hours since I worked on the other garden beds, and it's starting to get cloudy out, and this bed behind me has some shade from the tree in the neighbor's yard, so I can go ahead and keep working on the garden and be relatively cool out here while I do it. This bed behind me is an established bed, so it needs just a little bit of weeding, because I have some bindweed and some little trees sprouting from the seeds from the trees around us, but it doesn't need a whole lot of work. And then we're also going to go ahead and we're going to put down the mulch. Since we have the cups around the plants, I don't think the roly-polies are still going to be able to get into them. So I want to go ahead and protect this because it's been getting really dry during the day, and I just do not want the plants to dry out anymore. Since that's all I'm going to be doing to this bed, I will be right back. That looks so much better. Not only does cedar help deter the bugs, it helps hold in the moisture because it's mulch, and oh, it just looks so good. And you can even see over here where it's faded, it still looks good, but I really love it when it's fresh and it's still red. So we pulled out all of the weeds except for two, because I think that one might be a tomatillo, because I did have tomatillos in this garden last year. And if I can get that to grow and the pill bugs haven't eaten it yet, that would be fantastic. Then also, I'm not sure what that one is, but it has different leaf structure than any of the other weeds that I have in the garden. So I'm gonna leave it. If it turns out to be something that I don't want, then I'll go ahead and I will get rid of it. One thing I wanna talk about is that on this side, you'll notice that the plants are not doing as well as on the other side. And I think that's because of the mushroom compost that I used in these. I think it might be too hot. And plus it's, like I was saying before, it's kind of hydrophobic. And I don't think it's holding the water as well. So I've had to replant a couple of times, and luckily I've had some transplants from the garden itself that I could put in here. So we'll see how it does. I just kind of keep replanting as I need to. Like I put in some onions with the dill here, and there is another onion, and we'll see how they do. And our next bed that we'll be doing is the one that is now in the shade. The sun certainly moves fast. Well, the sun has finally set, and now I can be outside to do a little bit more work now that it's quieted down and it has cooled off. This garden bed has a lot more weeds in it than some of the other ones. So we have a whole bunch of weeds down here. This is definitely not a weed. We want to keep our Swiss chard plants. But you can see going all the way down that there are some weeds we don't want. But we do have a volunteer tomato, and I get these every year, and I'm gonna just let it go, and when it gets tall enough I will attach it. And we also have a volunteer nasturtium. So those types of plants I do not consider to be weeds, so we will be leaving them. Now I'm only going to be mulching this bed, the pumpkin bed behind me. I am not going to be mulching because of the roly-polies. I do have these in cups, which is okay, but I do not have the nasturtiums that are coming up, nor the bok choy that's coming up in cups. So I'm going to leave the mulch off of here, and this bed, since this is completely new soil back here, has been staying a lot more moist than the rest of the garden, so I'm not too worried about it. So I'm going to start working on this. I actually have my cameraman back now that he's home from work. So we will be right back after we weed and put down the mulch. It's been a long day in the garden. I am not completely done with the vegetable garden, but I'm done for tonight in this video. And you can see that we've got all the mulch down and we got all the weeds taken out. One thing about weeds, a weed is anything you don't want in your garden. So like the Swiss chard, someone might consider a weed, but because I want it, it's not. So the other thing is that you want to get your weeds while they're small, because once they start to grow a root, they're really hard to get out, especially bindweed. This whole entire area, including like where the pepper bed is, this whole yard had a lot of bindweed in it. And I just had to keep pulling it out and pulling it out and pulling it out. And now I only pulled out 2 bindweed in this whole area today. So that is a huge accomplishment. Just keep up on them. Don't give up. Just keep pulling those weeds, and eventually you'll have it where you've got it pretty well maintained. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope this gives you an idea of what you need to do for some garden maintenance. And don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Happy gardening, everyone.